Hello, my peoples. Um, we're gonna do the Wattpad reaction slash reading today. So yeah, you guys chose number 2. Well, at least half of you, and majority rules. So yeah, let's get started. But before that, here's some warnings that'll probably happen. Cringe, fangirl moments, most likely swearing, probably. And bad reactions on my part. There will be other stuff in there too. So yeah, let's get started. Okie dokie, we are starting. First chapter is called Nico. I'm pretty sure we get double POV, but not really sure. First time reading it, blind reacting, I swear. I'm just gonna skip the author note and go straight to the story. It was a few weeks after Gaia was defeated, and I was lying in my bed trying to sleep. And of course I couldn't. I kept tossing and turning, trying to get in a comfortable position. I tried closing my eyes and lying perfectly still. I even flopped my pillow, but nothing worked. I couldn't just lay down and try to sleep until morning. Honestly, I feel you sometimes. So I got up and got dressed in my usual attire. A black Calvin 13 t-shirt and black jeans. I figured lying in bed doing nothing wasn't going to help anybody. I left my dark cabin and was headed for the woods. The woods were a safe place for me because no one was usually there and I could be left alone. Although I would never admit it, a certain son of Apollo was on my mind. Huh, really? I wonder who it could be. Who could it be? Such a mystery. So much so that I couldn't concentrate. While I was trying to get him on my mind, I realized that I had walked unintentionally towards the Apollo cabin. Fuck him. Nico, you can't be here. He'll never like me anyway. Not like there's any point. Who am I kidding? I'm ugly, I'm aggravating, I'm dark, I'm old, I'm deadly, and people are afraid of me. First of all, Nico, you're not ugly. I know, like, a lot of people, and half of this fandom simps for you. So, like, no, you're not. Nobody would like me, not even platonically. So I have to stop my growing crush on Will. Holy fucking mother of Hera, I have a massive crush on Will Solis. Oh, really? Actually? Huh? Oh my god, this can't be happening. I stopped in my tracks and tried to focus on getting to the woods. I quickened my pace and tried to get there as fast as I could. Once I got there, I curled up in a ball next to a reasonable looking tree and cried. I cried because I was stupid. I cried because I had done it again. I cried because I knew the misery that would come with liking someone. I cried because I had fallen for somebody that would never like me, someone who didn't care about me, someone so No, I cannot have a redo of what happened with Percy. I just can't. I wouldn't be able to handle it. If I thought that was hard, I would have to do it all over again, but with Will. At that point, all my horrible thoughts were bleeding their way into my mind. I started breathing heavily and shakily. This was too much. It couldn't happen again. Then one thought came from inside of me, louder than the others. One that said, last time it was a foolish child's crush. This time it's real. You might be foolish, but you're no longer a child. That's true. Wait, no. How old is this? Is after the War of Gaia, right? So wasn't he like 14? Yeah, you're still a child. 14 is still a child. You are still a child. But okay. While my heart filled with hope, my head was mentally trying to tear it to shreds. I cannot read. What if I really liked someone this time? What would happen? I kept wondering, and the more I did, the more questions popped inside of my head. This was all too much. Not again. This couldn't happen. Why did it have to happen? Because it's fate, Nico. Let it happen. Let it happen. Let it happen. I was shaking and felt freezing, but I had nowhere to go and no one to go to. I realized I wanted someone there for me, not someone like Jason or Hazel or Reina, even though I cared for them. I wanted someone else, and my heart had the perfect idea of who. Who could it be? Let me think. Who could it be? Who could it possibly be? Time skip brought to you by Hades. Okie dokie. It was morning when I had finally managed to calm myself down. I decided to skip breakfast and headed towards the training area where I had to teach some kids with Percy. Percy! Well, yes, we have other characters in the story. Woo. I opened the door once I arrived and found the place conveniently empty. While I waited, I may as well practice. It usually took my mind off things anyway. I had been practicing for a few times, still waiting for Percy and the captors to arrive. Shit, Percy's going to know something's wrong. He'll ask why and beg and whine like a child until I tell him. Mood, honestly, same Percy. I would beg. I beg my friends every time they won't tell me. I whine like a child because I am a child. Or worse, he'll get someone else involved, like Annabeth, or Jason, or Will, trying to try and get it out of me. At the mention of Will's name, my heart skipped a beat. Oh, did it? Then I mentally punished myself for doing so. I think I got pretty worked up though, because I slashed through some of the training equipment and my sword hit I cannot read, hit my arm with its blade. Red liquid was coming out of the cut. God damn it. Unfortunately, that's exactly when Jason chose to make himself seen. Perfect timing, Jason. Perfect timing. Does this mean Nico will have to go to the infirmary? Ooh. Good morning, Nico. I don't think you've ever decapitated someone that fast. Plus, you never come here this early unless... Is there something on your mind? Something so bad you need a distraction? Someone? He says as he wiggles his eyebrows. He's way too optimistic about me needing a distraction, even though it was true. He was too committed to my life. He was too committed to my love life. Aren't we all, though? That's why we're here, reading about your love life. That's why we're here. We're all committed. Curse him! How did he already figure that out without even having heard blah blah? Curse him! How did he already figure that out without even having heard my response? Ugh! He knows me too well. I guess I wasn't being very discreet with my emotions because Jason gave me a shocked expression. There it is! He exclaimed, almost squealed. Luckily, I made my face go back to neutral. No, idiot, I'm just pissed because I didn't sleep. Jason ignored me, of course. Well, it doesn't matter anyway. The special someone will have to wait because we need to get you to the infirmary, he said casually. Your arm looks pretty bad. His tone had a bit more concern. Holy Hades, if I go to the infirmary, I have to see the special someone. Oh no, I'm starting to sound like Jason. The special someone. Chapter 2, Will. Oh, it is double perspective. I love when it's double perspective. It gives us, more insight, I guess. It was a few weeks after Guy was defeated, and I was going crazy. After the 3 days in the infirmary with Nico, I realized that I really liked him. He opened up to me a little, telling me about some of his nightmares and stuff. Those were some of my favorite days on the infirmary ever. Aw, that's cute. I wanted to get close to him. I wanted Nico to consider me his friend, someone he can trust and rely on, someone who can be there for him, and I'll be that person if he wants me to. He doesn't have a lot of people like that. It's that, well... There's Jason, there's Hazel, there's Raina, but nobody can compare it to what... Yeah. Nowadays, I usually think about him often. But today, I woke up from dreaming about him. It's not creepy, I swear. You sure it's not creepy? What were you dreaming about, huh? What were you dreaming about? I couldn't get him to stop crossing my mind all morning, and now it's my shift in the infirmary, and he's still on my mind. Unfortunately for me, Kayla was at the infirmary. What are you gonna do, Kayla? Hey, Will, something wrong? You seemed a little off this morning. I had jumped as she had caught me off guard. Oh no, I'm fine, totally fine, don't worry about it, I said while forcing a fake smile. Yeah, totally fine, definitely not thinking about something. Huh. Will, you are the one who told me when people say I'm fine, they're never fine. Is it Nico again? She asked innocently. Shist. Of course Will doesn't curse. I always thought he would curse like a sailor because, first of all, the infirmary is basically like the ER. And isn't he from Texas? I'm pretty sure Southerns curse a lot. So that's my headcanon, that Will curses like a sailor. So yeah, that's my take on that. She knows I was thinking of Nico. Why did I tell her I liked him? You told her already? Huh. Why in the Hades did you say it out loud? At this point, the gods will be able to hear you. And yes, I might be thinking about him, but it's not like I do it all the time. I lied. She giggled. Not all the time, huh? Sure you don't, Will. When are you going to do something about this? All you could talk about for the past week was Nico. You even kept me and Austin up till 3 that one time. All you have to do is tell him. Then it'll be done, she said blankly. Such good advice. Just tell him. I can't just tell him, I whispered, shouted, while anxiously looking around to see if someone noticed us. He'll hate me. He's definitely not gay, and he's not bi like me. He probably likes Raina. They're super close. Plus, he said he didn't think he fit in at Camp Half-Blood. He probably met her and fell in love. They're probably already dating. Maybe that's why he doesn't date any... Kayla cut me off of my terrible rambling. Raina? Seriously? That's what you think? No, not even close. No. He's not dating Raina. Raina's an independent woman, and everyone respects her for that. She's probably good friends with him. She paused, then said, You sure he'll get mad at you for telling him you like him? Doesn't he like you back? He 100% doesn't. And how would you know if he liked me anyway? I asked. Her response was immediate. He blushes and looks down when you guys so much as brush arms. He stutters all the time around you. You ramble whenever you talk to him. You're always nervous around him. You're both oblivious when the other tries to flirt, and you both can't ask the other about their feelings because you're too scared. You both obviously like each other. It's so obvious though. If you read The Blood of Olympus, that little scene at the end, kind of, it's so obvious. Like, just, ugh. I was screaming at The Blood of Olympus when that happened. I was like, oh my god, it's Angelo. It's so obvious. Yeah. She just dated with a master of fact look on her face. I just stared dumbfounded. I think you just proved to me I liked him more than I'm letting myself believe. I didn't realize any of that happened. Oh wait, I see what she's doing. She's trying to outsmart me by making me think Nico likes me. Henceforth, making me tell my feelings. I'll go along with it, but I'm not going to tell Nico. I'm not that dumb. You are that dumb, though. She's telling the truth. You are that dumb. You are that dumb. Really? Huh. I guess I'll tell him then, I said, humoring her. I looked down at my watch. Thank the gods. Perfect timing. My shift's over, I said simply. I left her looking shocked that I agreed that quickly. Little did she know. You just lied to her face. You just lied to her face. That's rude. Time skip brought to you by Apollo. I was heading back to the infirmary for my second shift of the day. Everything seemed peaceful here, too peaceful. I had spent enough time in here to know that something was bound to happen. I had just restocked one of the cabinets when I saw two people come in. I recognized one of them as soon as I turned to face them. My heart sank. From the looks of it, Jason had dragged Nico to the infirmary with a giant bleeding cut all along his arm. I ran to them instantly. Nico, what happened to you? I asked, trying to not sound as if I was as worried as I felt. He cut his arm in the traveling. Where did I get traveling from? He cut his arm in the training arena. I can't stay though. Gotta leave, training session all, Jason responded. He sounded as if he were smirking as he spoke. Nico just glared at him. Then Jason made sure Nico was okay and left in no hurry whatsoever for the training session he was going to be late for. Something told me he wasn't really going. I snapped back to the present. I know I shouldn't be happy because Nico's hurt, but yay, we're alone. I'm sorry, what? We're alone? We're alone. Child. You are a child. Okay, moving on. However, I didn't let my excitement show. Instead, I said, come, follow me, and took his hand and led him to a room. He didn't pull away or jump like the other times when he stayed for 3 days. His hand lingered in mine and made me so happy that I almost glowed, but I had to suppress it. His hand was soft and cool, and it was just right to hold his hand in mine. Once we were there, I let him sit on the bed while I got supplies. He had seemed a little anxious. I tried to clear the air. So, Nico, have you been? That was such a cute paragraph. Except for the "we're alone" comment. That was weird. But that was so cute. Next chapter. Nico's POV. Yay. I didn't know how to answer him. I mean, I did. Just wasn't going to say my answer. Here's what I wanted to say. I've been horrible. I can't concentrate on anything. Didn't sleep or eat. All I think about is you. I like you so much. And I don't know what to do. That would have ended well. Instead, I said, fine. A simple answer I knew he wouldn't get much out of. He looked at me with a little disappointment in his bright blue eyes. At least it says eyes. I've read some Wattpad stories that are like orbs. Orbs? Like, orbs. So far so good, right? So far so good. Nico, I know that's not true. Kayla says you haven't been coming to the pavilion to eat, and I thought I told you to be careful with your sword after the fight. Didn't somebody do that to you? He asked. No, I was training by myself, but I was careful. I was just a bit distracted. At that, he looked at me confused. His brows furrowed slightly, and it was the most adorable thing. Adorable? Okay. Why were you distracted? Was it Tartarus? If you have bad memories, you know you can come to me, right? I mean, he cleared his throat, trying not to overreact. If you ever need someone, I didn't know what to say. No one ever offered to do that for me. You'd be okay with that? I asked curiously. He replied suddenly. Of course, Nico. I'm always here if you need someone. Not even medically. And I'd love to help you if you need. He gave me a dramatic yet giant smile, and I couldn't help but believe him. I was biting my lip. trying not to smile, and I think he could tell. He gave me a knowing look, then placed his hand on my arm and traced the cut. His hand was soft and warm and made me feel good. He started to disinfect my cut, clean it, and bandage it. I watched him as he worked. Skeletal butterflies were practically jumping up and down in my stomach. It was mesmerizing just to look. You're memorized? Aww. He caught my eye when he finished and smiled and said, "You okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine. It's just nice to watch the process of healing, you know?" When I trailed off, hoping he'd help me. I'm not as good at socializing as he is. Good gods, I'm not good at any of this people stuff. He probably thinks I'm mentally unstable. You're surrounded by death spirits in the underworld. Yeah, that's understandable. Even after Gaia, there were so many injured campers. People had seen People had seen friends die, companions get torn to pieces, and heroes like Lilo, who's Lilo? Like Leo, get blown up in the sky. I still have patients with comas and some who are traumatized. He hadn't realized, but I was so glad he understood me. He knew where I was coming from, and it was great. The conversation would flow because of him. He was so good at socializing. Nearly everyone loved him. He was so friendly and easy to talk to. His hand left my arm, and I was left wanting its warm back. He checked a few things, my heartbeat, blood pressure, etc. When he asked, "Death Boy, have you been sleeping? You look exhausted." I was shocked he could tell. Then again, he was my doctor. Apparently, he noticed. "You haven't been eating or sleeping. Nico, you need to if you want to get better," he said with a worry. Wait, he worried about me? Not now, D'Angelo. Okay, you like that he's worried about you? You like that? He looked at me, his piercing blue eyes full of concern. I felt bad for letting him down. I felt really bad because I really wanted him to like me. It was if we took a step back, a step that we took so long to get to. "I'm sorry," I was looking down. "It's just so hard to sleep. And when I do, I get nightmares and memories, and I wake up miserable and scared." I can feel his eyes on me. I blushed and realized that I've never really told anyone that before. "It's okay," was all he said. Then he pulled me in a hug. I resisted for a bit, but eventually gave in a hug. Back slightly. Plus 5 steps forward. The hug felt so good, and I can't even remember the last time I actually hugged someone back. Will then said, "I'm the one who should be sorry. I shouldn't have forced you to sleep if it's hurting you." He whispered, "I'll figure something out. I swear on the river Styx." Whoa, the river Styx? You know, that's permanent, right? Oh, okay. I stopped hugging and pulled away with wide eyes. Did he really swear that he'd help me? That never ends well. He could die. Why would you do that? I asked, purely out of shock and worry, then tried to stop stuttering like a blubbering idiot and rephrased, "Why would you do that for me?" He answered easily, "Nico, you're my friend, and I don't like to see you suffer, so I'm going to help you as much as possible." At that, he began restocking and checking things. "Friend? Honey, it's spelled boyfriend." I can't believe it. Will considers me his friend. Now, to some people, being friend-zoned by your crush is horrible, but to me, it's progress. Fantabulous. That's. I'm just gonna skip that word. I'm gonna say fantabulous. Progress from where I begun. I was sitting there, astounded. All of a sudden, I started smiling. A real smile that barely ever comes out since Bianca. I surprised myself so much I didn't realize that Will had turned around. "Aw, Death Boy, you're so cute when you smile," he said, a grin playing on his lips, his soft pink lip. Did he just call me cute? Yes, he did. Yes, he did. A, you're not allowed to call me Death Boy. B, did you call me cute? I'm not cute. I'm far from cute. I say as truthfully as I can, muster, while frantically trying to push down the blush creeping all over my cheeks. "Oh, you know you're cute, Diego. You know it." Okay, Will POV. I looked at him for a hot second. Apollo pun intended. Wow. Okay, an Apollo pun? Really? Then laughed. When I finally calmed down, I saw Nico rolling his eyes at me. "What? It's not like you said I couldn't call you that the first time." At that, he blushed a little and turned his head, making my heart race. Gods of Olympus. He's just so adorable. No, I can't think like that, knowing he'll never like me. We're just friends. That's all will ever be. Friends? Since when did you become Adrian Agreste? She's just a friend. Nuh-uh. Since when did you become Adrian Agreste? Blondie, oblivious Idiots. Friends don't fantasize about kissing other friends because that's wrong and creepy. Just thinking about the boy in front of me made me happier than usual, and I couldn't help but imagine what it would be like if we were something more. Will, you okay? You blinked out, Nico said, looking rather sincere. I smiled. Of course I'm okay, Neeks. I appreciate you worrying about me, though, I said with a smirk. He blushes a bit, and his eyes go wide. Now it's like the fates are teasing me, because watching Nico is like watching a literal angel. His name is D'Angelo for a reason. Come on, let's get out of here. My shift's done anyway. I know where to go, I said, giving him a reassuring smile, casually slipping my hand into his and tugging him along with me. We exited the infirmary. I started walking at a quick pace, eager to bring him to my favorite spot, and in response, I almost saw him smile, the sides of his lip curling upward. Then it disappeared just as quickly as it came and got replaced by a worried glance. Some people were staring. I didn't mind, but Nico might have. Well, where are you taking me? Why are you doing this? We couldn't have just stayed there with everyone else. Are you taking me to the woods? He kept asking me questions, and I couldn't feel as if he thought I was untrustworthy. That made me feel so hurt. So I decided to test my hypnosis. Do you trust me? I slowed my pace and looked at him, waiting for the answer I wanted. No, praying, hoping for the answer I wanted. He looked at me fully with his beautifully big, deep brown eyes. He seemed to be thinking, hesitating, that was never good. Assuming the worst, I looked away and let go of his hand. Sorry, I muttered and turned, and I was going to walk to my cabin when Nico took my hand and I faced him once again. Nico's eyes shone and sparkling in the light. Will, he said without breaking eye contact or untangling his hand from mine. My heart thought. I trust you, was all he said. I must have been pretty happy because I started glowing a faint yellowish tint, and I was itching to smile so bad that I couldn't stop it. I was almost certain a giant goofy smile was on my face. Nico saw my smiley face and glowy body, and he did something I thought I wasn't capable of making him do. He started laughing, and it was the most melodic thing I'd ever heard, sweeter than any Apollo's original or Athena or I'm not gonna say those things. I can't read. Albums, no offense, y'all awesome, except that one embarrassing song by Apollo that even the music geek Austin is ashamed of. His smile was adorable, and his eyes were half closed. I could not help but admire how cute he was. I'm crushing so hard on this boy. But alas, all amazing things come down to an end. And soon his laugh died down. He looked back at me as if he was going to crack up any second, amusement dancing in his eyes and facial expression, something I couldn't help but feel proud of because I did that. I made Nico D'Angelo laugh at me. Yeah, laugh at you. At you. A win is a win, I guess. A win is a win. Well, you're AFK again, he said while waving his hand in front of my face. I looked back at him and then realized, hey, you just used the slang I taught you, I said, giggling. He looked at me in surprise. I didn't think you would notice, he said. I replied as truthfully as I could be. I will always notice you and everything you do or say. He looked utterly shocked and slightly confused before he could call out, though I changed subjects. Come on, let's go. I slipped my hand in his. Once again, I started slowly running deeper in the woods, Nico trailing behind me. I'd hope he wouldn't bring up that little moment up later. Nico's POV, yay. Will, pun fully intended, they ever get together in this fanfic? The answer, no one knows. Not even me. Literally, anyways, enjoy. And their platonic tension. Platonic. The author is so mean. Why would you say this? Now I'm gonna be so sad if they don't get together in this fanfic. How dare you? Will had taken my hand again and started leading me through the forest. I didn't react, however, because I was still processing what he had told me. I will always notice you in anything you do or say. What could that mean? No one ever noticed me at all. I mean, I was in the shadows most of the time, but I realized that Will had always glanced at me and smiled at me when I thought no one saw me. It was as if his light could see through my darkness. Oh wait, the Immortalis, Will is rubbing off on me. For Hades' sake, he made me say something cheesy. Oh, if they don't get together in this fanfic, I will throw a fit. I will. It was at that moment where I noticed my hand was warmer than usual. I looked and saw my hand intertwined in his. He hadn't let go, frowned, freaked out, or looked disgusted at me for lightly holding his hand back. I took that as a good sign, although I was blushing like crazy while desperately trying to hide it. Most of my brain was saying, Will is a friendly, touchy person. This is probably normal to him. My heart, on the other hand, we have a code hand-holding. I repeat, this is not a drill. Everyone sends signals to kiss. Well, there. I mean, yes, do it. Meanwhile, my brain harshly declines those signals and my heart and brain declare war. So basically, I can't rely on myself to do anything. And now on top of that, I have a headache, more like a heartache, if you know what I mean. Angelo, shut up, shut up, shut. Hey, Meeks, you okay? You're making a face. Will said, snapping me out of whatever was going on inside of me. Yeah, just thinking. I replied shyly. About what? Looks intense. Inside, I was panicking. How was I supposed to answer? I was just thinking that I wanted to kiss you. Yeah, that'll work so well, I said. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. It would work so good, actually, if you could just listen to yourself for a second. Just like actually do something impulsive. I would love that. Do it. My thoughts are at war with each other. Will stopped walking, turned to look at me for a millisecond, then bursted out laughing. I subconsciously smiled. I couldn't help but notice how nice his laugh is. Something about it was so joyful. It sounded as if pure happiness was spilling out of him. He was clutching his stomach from how hard he was laughing. He caught his breath and then looked at me. He was grinning madly when he told me, "You're cute when you really smile. You should do it more often." He continued walking like he hadn't said anything. This made me blush so hard I thought I would be tinted cherry red for the rest of my life. Why would he say that about me? That's when I realized he was staring. I caught his eyes, and he gave me a look. I tilted my head, trying to figure out his facial expression. He smiled a smile he knew I couldn't resist. He was just so pretty. His slightly curled, golden blonde hair, his perfect smile, his sky blue eyes that had so many shades I could get lost in them forever. His freckles, oh my god, his freckles. They were everywhere, and he wasn't symmetric. I'm so dumb. Symmetric or perfect. He had flaws, and that just made me like him more. His sun-kissed skin. You're staring, he said with a playful smile. I blushed again. Gods, what's wrong with me? Sorry, I mumbled and looked away. Okay, that's some interesting description there. Interesting. I love how in the books he never is mentioned with freckles. No, you can look in Blood of Olympus, in the Trials of Apollo. I think even in the Sun and the Star, never is he mentioned with freckles. But the fandom is like, yup, this dude has freckles. And honestly, good for us, because I love that for us. It's okay, Death Boy. Then he squeezed my hand and rubbing small circles on it. His actions made me smile. No, stupid, Nico. He doesn't mean it that way. But he does mean it that way. He means it that way, Nico. Yes, you are stupid for thinking he doesn't mean it that way. We were still walking, and we were very far in the forest, farther than I've ever been, and that's hard to beat. We eventually came across these giant bushes. They were dark, and they were clustered everywhere. In sight, I thought we were in dead end, but Will went close to the bushes, and the farthest to the left. He lifted a part of it and held it for me. What a gentleman. Dude, what a gentleman. Really, Nico? Okay. Go on, under. It's safe. Don't worry, he said, ushering me to do so. I went under, and he followed my suit. Once we were both on the other side, I just looked at our surroundings. There were just more bushes. Other than that, there was no way out. I was about to ask Will if Will was delusional. That probably wouldn't have been nice, Nico, so be quiet. I scolded myself. Well, he said, follow me, Ninx. Delusional. Delulu is the salulu. Delusion is the solution. He went to a spot near an edge of the bushes and somehow went through them without moving them. It was as if he disappeared. Then he magically came out and showed me what he did. It's really fun because it's like an illusion. Just go through here. He took my hand and led me through a passage. And voila, he said, acknowledging our atmosphere. We were in the clearing in the woods, and it looked amazing. There was a crisp green grass and blooming wildflowers everywhere. There was a small lake, and when we came close, I saw blue sparkling water, and it was enchanting. I thought water wasn't your type, though. Sorry, I had to say it. There were trees that were so tall they must have been here longer than the time I had spent in the casino. The sun captive every plant in the light that everything practically glowed. It was one of the prettiest things I'd ever seen, other than Will himself. Oh? For me, it was really cool, but the best part was that no one was here, not another soul. Other than animals, of course. This place wasn't even out in the open, so it was probably hard to find. I found this place when I first came to camp. He said, as if he was reading my thoughts. My first few weeks here, I used to get overwhelmed, and sometimes I get some bad panic attacks. I came here to calm myself and be by myself. As I get older, I kept coming, but I got better at it. How do I put this? Being a demigod. I got used to the constant stress, danger, and reoccurring nightmares, so now I come if I'm sick of people, tired, or just want some peace and quiet. I turned towards Will. This place is amazing, I said genuinely. But Will, why would you bring me here? I asked. At this, Will looked down. He seemed almost nervous. He looked back up at me and gave a reassuring smile, although I thought he was trying to reassure himself. Wait, was he blushing? No, you're just hallucinating, D'Angelo. He's blushing. Stop trying to convince yourself he doesn't like you. What is wrong with you, Nico? Let it happen. I want to share this with you. And, Nico, I need to tell you something important. No, no, he was about to confess. Please. Why? Why would you do this to me? In the distance, someone blew the conch shell. If you knew Camp well, you knew you could hear that thing all the way in Italy if the borders were down. Will looked back at me confused. But it's not mealtime. Oh, sweet mother of Aphrodite. That must mean it's something serious, I replied, as I saw the look of horror cross Will's angelic face. Angelic? Okay, we're using pretty words now. He grabbed my hand, lacing my fingers in his, and we ran out of the place and tried to get out of the woods as fast as we could. It probably wasn't the best time to think about it, but our hands fit so well together. I didn't even realize it before. His are warm and mine are cool, like the perfect fit. Yeah, it's fate, Nico. It's the fates. Let it happen. Anyways, back to real work, Nico. We made it out and saw the camp gather in clump around Kyran. We ran to the dining pavilion and sadly our hands drifted away from the others. What I heard made me want to hurl all the monsters into Tartarus. Yesterday, our friends at Camp Jupiter were attacked by a large group of monsters. Most people have severe injuries and some temples were destroyed. So they will be coming to Camp Hector. I expect all of you to be welcoming and considerate. That is all. That's looking distressed. Although I wouldn't blame him, we had more than double the demigods in one camp, while the other had been attacked. What the actual fuck happened? Okay, guys. I know this is gonna end on a cliffhanger. But I have to end it here because I gotta go. So I'll film the rest and then upload part 2. Sorry about the cliffhanger. I hope y'all understand. Love y'all. Bye.